welcome. I do not have an intro, but I've taken a break that I did not plan on taking. I'm really sorry. I was just like gone for 2 weeks, but here I am. I'm really sorry that I didn't really warn you. I mean, I kind of did. I kind of said that I was having some stressful weeks ahead of me, and oh boy, did I do that. Kind of more stressful than I intended, which is also why we have this kind of weird and out of the blue video here. That is not really part of any of the series on this channel. I will talk about this in a few seconds, but let me just talk about why I was kind of gone. So, like you all know, I have just started a new job that is always stressful, but, you know, I'm kind of like a month in now, and it's, you know, when you're starting a new job, it's usually like really stressful because you're getting trained at it, and there's a lot of like new things and new people and, you know, new schedule that you have to get used to, and that is really stressful, and it is very energy consuming, and your mind kind of lacks space for other things in that time. And now I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, well, now I have to actually work, which is, you know, again, kind of taking a lot of energy out of you to, you know, start that job and kind of start pulling your own weight, you know, do the things that you were trained to do. So that is stressful, but I'm kind of getting into like the groove of things. But then I had a friend visit, which was kind of planned before I've even had gotten this job. So I had a friend over, and obviously whenever you have someone stay over at your place for a while, you kind of want to, you know, clean up nicely and be prepared and whatnot, and obviously take time to spend time with your friend. So that I did, and that was brilliant and a lot of fun, and I really loved having her here, so that was great. And then what's not so great is that someone in my family, my mom actually, she has some health struggles right now, and I think I've said it before, but my mom is really hard of hearing. So whenever she has any, you know, responsibilities that she has to take, any like important things to do, she prefers me to, you know, tag along so that she can be sure that she didn't mishear anything, that everything is going, you know, perfectly. So that also obviously takes time out of my schedule to, you know, accompany her to these things, which I love doing and I don't mind doing, and I'm more comfortable knowing that everything's going great, and, you know, right for her. So I'm not complaining about it. It just, you know, obviously takes time and it takes energy, and also, you know, health struggles to me always are like a really like emotionally stressful thing, which arguably, to me at least, is the most energy draining, you know, if it's an emotional thing. But I mean, she said yesterday that she felt better, so that's good. I'm really happy about that. But, you know, that's an ongoing thing, and that also kind of stressed me out. And then, you know, just the job and like everything, and I've really gotten basically no time to do anything but like work, prepare to have my guest over, and, you know, spend time with my mom. And so yeah, that was kind of stressful, but I've gotten to play a bit, which was kind of like maybe like half-hour sessions here and there. But, you know, I really didn't want it to, you know, go into any of the ongoing projects. But I had this thing in my mind that I really wanted to do for a while, and that is create a map for other people to play in. And I was like, okay, why not start this map? And I had a very, you know, kind of weird, I guess, idea of making a map of like an entirely like abandoned, you know, rundown zoo. And I know that, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't watch it because I didn't want it to like subconsciously, you know, like take things from that. But I know that someone posted a video of a abandoned park, but to my understanding, it was more of like a, you know, you could still visit it. There were still animals in it. And that's not what I wanted to do. I really wanted this to be like run down, abandoned, because I have a thing for abandoned buildings that are like really run down, really spooky, really almost scary to be there. And that is what I wanted to do. This is also like a very, very old zoo, which you can kind of see right now with building these cages, which is how a lot of these cages used to look back in the day. So this would be kind of like a big cat maybe, or a bear. This is what, cages would look like back in the days. And yeah, so with this project, it's not going to be like a big series or anything. It's not going to be a regular thing. This is more of like whenever I have a time issue where I can't really put in hours of concentrated work into one of the ongoing projects, I can kind of build here, kind of just like landscape, kind of get myself back into the mood maybe after I have gone do something else for a while. So this was really fun. This was kind of great to get to take my mind off at the end of a stressful day for just like 30 minutes and go back to being stressed after that. But this is really nice, but obviously I didn't have the time to actually like edit or record anything specific or do the voiceover. Anything like that was really off the table for me the last 2 weeks. But I'm hoping to get back into everything now that my friend has gone back home, and I probably have a bit more time. Also, I have some like a crazy work schedule for the next week, but it's not crazy. It's just almost every day, and it is supposed to be like a part-time thing next to studying, but because I didn't work the week that the friend was here, I kind of have to catch up on the hours, so it's kind of a full-time job for the next week, and then I have a few less hours, but I think I'll get there. And I think that the next video is definitely going to be one of the series that we have on the channel. I don't know which one, but honestly, I know for all of the things, like all of the series that we have on the channel, I know what I want to build next. So I can kind of tell you that it's probably not going to be the tropical one, because I know that the thing that I will do next is kind of a bigger project, I think. But the whole tropical one, I never really know. I kind of have to build and see how it goes. But yeah, with the other two, I'll see whatever I feel inspired to do first. But I definitely know, where things are going with this. Also, I'm obviously super inspired because, my job is at a zoo, and the more I am at the zoo and the more I'm seeing all of this every day, the more I'm like inspired to build more realistically, built more inspired by the zoo that I work at, and just do that. But yeah, for now, this is kind of a small little map, and my idea is kind of that I want to give this map out to people, and they can kind of upgrade it, kind of like a fixer-upper to an abandoned zoo, kind of, this old story of that you have like games like Stardew Valley, where it's like, oh, your grandpa whatever gave you this abandoned like rundown area that used to be a zoo, and now you can build it up from the ground or whatever. Kind of this whole storyline, like I think you could kind of play with this map. Obviously I have to finish it, but then I think it would be really cool if people were able to play with this, and maybe I can tour some of the zoos that come out of this map. But yeah, I've always kind of wanted to build a map, and kind of, it's not that I didn't have an idea, but it was like, okay, this is kind of like any other map, but I think this is really cool because there's some like man-made structures that you can like play off of, but there's also, obviously nature, and there's some stuff laying around, some broken stuff that you could kind of build back up, or, do an entirely new thing. And I think I didn't do it too specifically for any of the areas so far, so you could still like totally turn all this these things around here. But yeah, I think that this could be fun to work on and to make your own zoo. And I think that maybe someday down the line, obviously it's gonna take some while, it could be fun to like tour this and to make over maybe I'll even, you know, make my own attempt at doing a makeover of this, and kind of play this little, you know, story in my head that this is, you know, some inherited, is that the word, zoo that we have to build back up, which I think would be fun. But obviously, you know, it has its limits because there's a lot of this decorational pieces from the Europack. So obviously, you know, this would not really work for franchise because, you know, you could just sell a lot of those and have a lot of pieces that you could just sell and make money off of. So that wouldn't really make sense. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll still be a fun project. And I mean, if you want to do it like that, that's absolutely up to you. But you can totally let me know if that is something that maybe somewhere down the line you would like to do. I would love to hear that. And I would love to know if, you know, you still enjoyed this, or because I know that, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, I wanted to see this and that series continue and now it didn't. But, you know, don't you worry about those series that are on this channel. They're all near and dear to me, and I'm still inspired and happy to work on all of them. This was really just for me to have something with, you know, the stakes not being high and me not having to stay focused for a long time, because this is also hard if you know, come home and, you know, you sometimes really can't pull the concentration to work on something for hours. So that was really nice, and it was really fun to do this because, you know, I love cluttering, I love foliage work, and this was really fun to just you know, make everything look kind of thrown around and kind of almost like vandalized in a way. And these benches, for example, they don't make sense because my idea was like, okay, these benches were like pushed around, and obviously there's probably been storms and, you know, people obviously vandalizing things, and, you know, so my idea was definitely that they were not fixed to the ground in any way, shape, or form. They were just pushed around. And but, you know, the way the game works, for some reason they have to stick to paths, which really annoys me. I wish that we had these benches as a decorational piece too, because I would love to have some of them be like tipped over, like broken or something. So I'm thinking maybe I'll build like custom benches that kind of look like the in-game benches. I think that would be a great addition to that and kind of make it more realistic, because, you know, the benches are pushed around. Obviously some of them will be tipped over and like broken or you know, made dirty or something, but yeah, I don't know, I just love the look of this. I know that some people be like, why would you build like a broken, like rundown, ugly zoo? But I love abandoned buildings. I really love there's a lot of people on YouTube who kind of go into abandoned buildings, and they will you know, tour them and tell like, oh, and this is really spooky, and people say this is haunted and stuff. I don't necessarily believe in hauntings, but I do think that this stuff is really interesting, and I do think that the history behind some like old abandoned things are really like spooky. Like, I like being spooked even though I don't necessarily believe in it, if that makes sense. I'm one of those people that enjoys like crime podcasts. I'm not like crazy about it, like I don't know a lot about it, but to me it's kind of relaxing. I always listen to crime podcasts when I'm cleaning. I don't know what that is about, but I really, that is my go-to when I'm cleaning my place. Then I'm always like, okay, time for a good murder story. Yeah, that is relaxing to me. But so yeah, I don't know, like spooky and like abandoned things are really interesting to me, and also old zoos are really interesting to me. Like I really like you know, collecting information about how zoos used to be, even though, you know, we are all aware that zoos like this and enclosures like the one that we're working on right now on the screen, they were not good. They were not great for the animals, and they were suffering there, and people didn't know that back in the day, or maybe they didn't know and they didn't care. But zoos have gone a long way from the way that this right here is built, and that is so interesting to me. I've always kind of had a weird fascination with things that I guess kind of make you realize how much we progressed from something. Like, for example, I've when I was a kid, this might be weird, but when I was a kid, I had a really weird obsession with mining, because I really loved hearing about, you know, how dangerous mining used to be and how it like changed into a very technical thing. And to me, I have a similar obsession with old zoos and seeing how back in the days it was more of like, we want people to see animals, and now it is more, the approach is more, we want to recreate the place that this animal would live in the nature, and we want it to be accurate. We want the animal to be as happy as we can make it in captivity. And to me, that is so interesting, and I love you know, modernization of zoos. I'm really happy and lucky that there's a lot of zoos in my area. So there's a lot of zoos that, you know, if you've not been there for like 2 years, and you go back and you see how things are progressing, to me that is so interesting. Like, things are progressing in the sense of how they change the zoo around to fulfill the criteria that I just talked about. And so for me, that is, I don't know why, but I love hearing that. So old zoos are also really interesting to me. And I don't know, I think all of this together, like the aspect that other people could play with it and that I could play with it and that we can tour it potentially, that this kind of combines two interests of mine, and also it was just convenient for me to build in this point of time. That all came together perfectly, but I promise you that does not mean that I've abandoned any of the regular series. This will not be regular. This will be I feel like it's so I'll do it kind of series. Kind of a side thing, and then once it's ready, I think I'll give you kind of the you know, the rundown of like, this is how you can update the zoo, or like play this story that I have in my head or whatever, to you know, partake in this. So yeah, maybe that's a dumb idea, nobody wants to do it, but I don't care, because this was fun to build and I love cluttering, and if nobody wants to do it, I'll do it, and if everyone wants to do it, I'll probably still do it, because then I also want to do it, you know. But yeah, I don't know, I've really run out of things to say. For this, we will not have a real-time part, because there's really not a lot to see. There's obviously no animals in here, and I don't know. You know, this was also one of the convenient parts, that there were no animals, so there is not a fixed point of like, now I'm finished, or this is something I still need to do, because there is no animal, so I can go as far or as not far as I want with something, because also this is a map, so it doesn't have to be super detailed, but detailed enough to get the vision across, right? So that was kind of the idea of it. So I don't think that a real-time part would really add to this, because there's literally nothing to like examine, or what is it called, to, you know, look at for a longer time, because it is moving. I'm really lacking a word here. To watch, I guess. So because there's no animals, right? So there's nothing that is going to change or move, or no cute moments that we're gonna have. So we're just gonna have a short little round of cinematics once I'm done talking, or once the speed build is done, because I think I'm about to be done talking actually. Yeah, like I said, I am so sorry about missing out some days. This is so much fun, and every day I was like, oh, I wish I could just like sit down and do this and post and whatnot, but I couldn't. But here I am, and I hope that I from now on will get back into posting the days that I wanted to, or at least date 2 days a week. Yeah. Is that? Yeah. 2 days a week. That would be great, and I hope I can do that. And if not, here's your warning, and I'm sorry in advance. But yeah, I think it should be fine from now on. But yeah, thank you for your patience. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for maybe watching this for the first time ever, and thank you for, if you consider coming back for another video, thank you also. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the speed build. Enjoy the little cinematics at the end. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!